it's Scott. And I want to go ahead and quickly touch on when you're playing with the Breslow tape. Specifically, remember that the smaller the baby, the higher the stress. And the higher the stress, the less your brain works. And that's important. Because when most people play with the Breslow tape, you measure red ahead, you see the kid is a yellow, and you have all of your meds equipment in the yellow section. And if you see the child is a purple, you have all of your meds, all of your equipment in the purple section. Great. The problem is when it comes to little ones, specifically 3, 4, 5 kilos. Now, why that comes into play is, if you notice up top, it says 3, 4, 5 kilos in the gray section. But all the other parts of the tape have names of colors. And in real life, everybody I've ever worked with calls it the gray zone. But for reasons unbeknownst to me, they don't call it the gray zone. They call it the 3, 4, 5 kilo zone. Now, why that's important is all of your meds are up here. Great. But now we've got a newborn. We want to figure out equipment. We look to the bottom, and you notice that the only thing that it mentions in regards to equipment in the gray zone is ET tube insertion length, otherwise known as where do you tape the darn thing. That's important. Because under stress, you're used to seeing the name of the color, looking down and seeing all your meds and equipment on all the other colors, except for newborns with little gray. So if you fit in the tiny gray zone, it says this is where you tape it. But if you notice, it says other equipment, which could otherwise be stated as all your equipment. Use the pink or the red zone. So you don't find any equipment over here on the gray zone, it tells you to use pink or red. So if you jump to the right, you notice that pink and red are sharing one zone. So with that in mind, it's telling you to look over here. So if you look over here, you find ET tube, you find where do you tape it, and it breaks it down. This is where you tape if the child is a pink. This is where you tape it if the child is a red. At the bottom, it tells you if you're popping in an LMA or a laryngeal mask airway. It says if you're pink, this size, if you're red, this size, if you're popping in a Foley. And remember, on the tape, they call it a urinary catheter. Because of copyright, they couldn't call a Foley a Foley. But on the pink and the red zone, it tells you if the child is a pink, this size Foley. If they're a red, this size Foley. Either way, they should have called gray, gray. But it's 3, 4, 5 kilos and it looks gray. Meaning if you've got a newborn, all your meds are there. The only thing in regards to equipment is where to tape the darn thing. So under stress, read, and it tells you to use the pink or the red zone. So if you can't find any equipment because there's not listed any equipment in this section, just simply take one step to the right into the pink-red zone. And that's where you're going to find what you need to know for your tiniest of patients.